Good afternoon, everyone. The government shutdown could be over as soon as tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson has called representatives back to Washington.
A key vote is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
Today, on the 42nd day of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, an end is in sight. President Trump thanked House Speaker Mike Johnson today as the bill makes its way to both leaders.
And congratulations to you and to John and to everybody on a very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed.
The short-term spending bill funds the government until the end of January. It reverses the administration's firings and guarantees back pay for furloughed workers. But the bill does not extend Affordable Care Act subsidies, the main sticking point of the shutdown. It instead allows Senate Democrats to lead a vote on extending them in the future. 7 Democrats and 1 independent senator voted with Republicans to pass the bill. It now heads to the House, where it is also expected to pass as soon as tomorrow, even though Democrats say they're not likely to support it.
We're not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Republicans are actively engaged in ways to reform the Affordable Care Act. Caught in between, people like Brianna Vasquez, who tells us without a deal to extend the tax credits, her family's $282 a month health insurance premium is set to increase to more than $1,000 a month.
I'd love to see, Congress, who are the people that can change this. So change it. Put something else on the table and, do your job.
When House members return tomorrow, it'll be their first time back in session in 53 days. They continued to get paid through the shutdown, even as federal workers missed paychecks. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Congressman Jimmy Patronis says he's confident the government shutdown could end in the next 2 days. Tomorrow, the House will vote on 3 budget bills. Patronis says it's crucial to meet the November 15th deadline. As today, funds reallocated to cover previous paychecks will run out, meaning military members not expected to be paid then. Patronis says today the public servants are being held hostage.
The sad part of it is that our public servants were held hostage throughout this whole entire crisis since September 30th. That is simply unacceptable, and this is why the bills that have been proposed to ensure our employees continue to get paid even during the government shutdown is what I think is the right thing to do.
Tonight at 6, hear more from Patronis and the impacts here locally and what former service members are saying about the shutdown's impacts on morale.
Pensacola police today releasing the name of a man found dead in his office yesterday. Investigators say 57-year-old Dean Chambers was stabbed several times. A worker arriving at AA Top Shop on Davis Highway found the body yesterday. Chambers leased space from the business. No suspects have been identified. Anyone with information is asked to call Pensacola Police or Crime Stoppers at 850-433-STOP.
Reimagine Palafox is a $10.7 million downtown Pensacola improvement project that could start this January. The financial toll the construction could take on downtown businesses is something a local property owner's taken note of. Quint Studer made a pledge to give interest-free loans to these small businesses, even if they don't have any affiliation to him. He says he's already granted $400,000 worth of loans to help them pay rent.
That's the ironic thing. They actually rent for somebody else. So I've actually helping them pay rent to somebody else. If it wasn't for our loans, you probably could take 10 buildings and 10 companies out of downtown Pensacola.
Tonight at 6, Melanie Levy has more on the shops on Palafox and their main concerns.
Today, the United States recognizes and honors those who've served in the armed forces. Parades and ceremonies along the Gulf Coast today, celebrating the commitment and patriotism of servicemen and women. Veterans Day began as Armistice Day, commemorating the end of World War I in 1919. In 1954, Congress changed the name and expanded the purpose to recognize all who served, whether in peacetime or in war.
Chime in, sponsored by Florida Power and Light.
This Veterans Day, we're celebrating those who served. Send us your pictures or videos. Text WEAR TV to 95577 or look for the Chime In page. It's on our website.
First Morning Weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
You know, it's one of my favorite events, just days to kind of get out there and cover every year. I don't know why. Veterans Day. I was out at the Memorial Park downtown this morning, and always good weather, it seems like, for some odd reason, but just a great event to honor our veterans, Alan.
It was, you know, we had temperatures in the 50s, so it was cool, but we didn't have the wind blowing. It was really quite nice out. And overnight, not as cold. So we had a lot of freezing cold temperatures this morning, but overnight lows are going to be in the 40s. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be chilly tomorrow morning and late tonight, but not as cold as what we experienced this morning. And we're on a bit of a warming trend. I mean, this is kind of a quick turnaround after the cold air blasted in the area. Tomorrow, sunshine, high of about 71. And then tomorrow night, overnight lows will be in the 50s. So you can see how things will be warming up over the next few days. As we check it right now, yeah, we're 50s now, and yeah, it's going to be cooling down, but we've got basically temperatures running around 53, 54, 55 degrees at this time. All that behind the big time cold front that moved through, but high pressure is right on top of us, and now that's keeping things calm for the moment. That will start to slip a little bit in this direction toward the east, and that's going to allow for a turnaround in everything in our weather pattern, and that's what's going to happen. Warmer air will start flowing back up into the area.
Thank you, Alan. And Veterans Day serves as a reminder to thank all those who served honorably in the U.S. military, but after leaving the service, they need more than thanks.
Many are looking for a civilian career. Ivan Rodriguez reporting live today from Atlanta on challenges veterans can face when looking for a job and why employers across the nation may want to consider investing in them. Hey, Ivan.
Tanner Haley, as of August, hundreds of thousands of veterans remain unemployed, while the unemployment rate for veterans remains lower than the civilian unemployment rate. An employer I spoke with says veterans can add a key set of skills to any workplace. For the last few years, veteran unemployment rates have remained low.
It's a testament to the work that we're doing in corporate America and the services that are provided out here to ensure that when people leave the armed forces, they're plugged into great opportunities.
Bruce Mosler with Cushman & Wakefield says veterans have a skill set that could translate into many workplaces.
It's collaboration skills, it's leadership skills, and at the end of the day, it's people that work well under pressure. These are all skill sets that are remarkably unique when you compare that to just the young kids coming out of college.
As of August 2025, there are 256,000 unemployed veterans. Compared to last year, the unemployment rate is slightly down to 3.1%, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Still, there are subgroups of veterans who struggle more than others when it comes to finding a job. The unemployment rate for veterans with a disability is around 5.7%.
We still have a responsibility as organizations to make sure that once they're in a place to come re-enter the workforce, that we are doing our due diligence to bring them back.
Mosler says this year alone, Cushman & Wakefield expanded its veteran workforce by 600 and hopes more companies follow suit.
Today is a day to say thank you, but thank you is not enough. Today's a day to remember that those who serve have unique skill sets, and they deserve and have earned the opportunity for their next career move.
Other benefits of hiring veterans include the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, a federal tax credit which can reduce an employer's federal income tax liability by as much as $9,600 per veteran hired. And there's no limit on the number of individuals an employer can hire to claim that tax credit. Tanner, Haley?
Ivan, what other resources are there for veterans and employers to connect in the job market?
There's a number of resources that can be found on the Department of Labor's website, from federal and state organizations to nonprofits and veteran service organizations. For example, Disabled American Veterans is an organization that will help companies find qualified candidates and ensure they can hire and also retain them.
Ivan Rodriguez joining us live from Atlanta. Thank you.
Still to come, Florida's governor wants to change more of the rules for red snapper fishing. His proposal to federal regulators for 2026.
Plus, you heard their story and you responded. The help coming to a couple struggling with a loss of benefits.
Download the WEAR News app now. Sponsored by Forrest Jordan and Associates.
Giving you a live look at I-10 right over the Escambia Bay Bridge. It looks like we can see a little bit of activity, some cones along the side of the roadway there, cars moving over to the side. Not quite sure what exactly is going on, but you can probably expect a little bit of slower traffic and some delays if you're planning on heading in that area later this afternoon.
Governor Ron DeSantis trying again to gain control of red snapper management in the Atlantic Ocean. The state already manages snapper season in state and federal waters in the Gulf. This year, the season included 127 days between Memorial Day weekend and Christmas weekend. In the request for management control in the Atlantic, the state's proposing a 39-day season with dates falling in May, June, and October. The governor says the state plan supports both the species and anglers.
The Pensacola community is rallying around a local couple who's struggling to make ends meet during this government shutdown. Yesterday, we told you about Franklin Clark and his wife. The two are both permanently disabled, and Clark was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer in 2014 and has been fighting the disease ever since. The shutdown cost this couple their SNAP benefits. Since sharing their story, many of you have reached out looking for ways to help.
Me and my daughter want to buy them a month's worth of groceries, including a full Thanksgiving dinner that they can fix at their own home. Thanksgiving is about giving thanks for what you have. I'm retired, and I know it's got to be hard on them not being able to work and take care of your family.
Coming up at 6, I'll have more on what this story means to residents like Belva Adams. Plus, I'll share other ways the community is stepping up in a time of need.
A Marine vet who served the community after leaving the service recognized with a special gift today. Travis Gilmore spends his free time volunteering at AmVet, calling bingo, building fences and ramps. Now he's receiving the same kindness back. Air Design delivered and installed a full HVAC system to replace his more than 20-year-old system.
Yeah, for somebody to gift this to me is huge. This is the biggest thing I've ever received like this. So it takes a lot of, a lot of weight off my shoulders, definitely.
Coming up at 6, hear more about Gilmore's reaction and why he was chosen as one of the recipients.
First Warning WeatherNet is sponsored by Peden Air Conditioning, Plumbing and Electrical. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alan Strum.
All right, here's a good-looking view as we check things out from the Island House Hotel, Orange Beach, Alabama, as we're looking down along the coast. And, it's been so windy there last day or so, but the winds have finally calmed down. Still pretty quiet along our coastal areas, but it is all clear in the skies as we check the scene there. So our temperatures right now are 50s. This is where we've been really sitting throughout this afternoon. We've got Milton at 55, Pensacola at 53, Navarre and Fort Walton Beach at 54 degrees, while Crestview has 56 as our temperature. And as we drop in the overnight low temperatures, you'll see that it is going to be a little bit colder for some of those inland areas, but otherwise it's 40s here for the coastal zones. We saw freezing temps this morning, and then tomorrow morning we're looking at mainly mid to low 40s here along the coastal areas. Immediate coastal areas maybe on the high side of 40s, but you take it inland, and we're looking at a chance for some of those areas to be down into the 30s, but not freezing cold even for those inland areas. Low temperatures, mid to upper 30s for the inland spots here tomorrow morning. So we're on a little bit of a warming trend. And then tomorrow we're going to be up around 70 degrees, maybe upper 60s to 70, 71 is what we can expect for tomorrow. So definitely bringing back some of that warmer air here into the area. Here is our satellite and radar imagery, which does show dry weather all across the area locally. All right, we'll move well up to the north to find out where the rain and snow is. And this time of the year, you start to see the blue showing up on the map. The blue color indicates where we've got snowfall, and then the green, that is your rain. We did see some of this yesterday as far south as Atlanta, a little bit of snow, that's what I'm talking about. But now it's way up in New England and around parts of the Midwest, Ohio, getting a little bit of mainly light snow at this time. But for us, it's high pressure right on top of us. That is what's controlling the weather, keeping everything nice and calm. But as this begins to slide a little bit to the east, we'll end up changing things around a little bit, and we'll end up with some warmer weather in the area here over the next couple of days, where our highs will end up being in the 70s. All right, winds, You know, we saw that breezy weather as the cold front came into the area, but now as we look ahead, really not a whole lot on our winds as we check out the next couple of days. And our futurecast, the traditional one we look at, does tell a story of sunshine again tomorrow and nice dry weather. It does bring in a little bit of cloud cover here right in the middle of the day on Thursday, so we may see a few more scattered clouds in the skies there as we head toward Thursday, but it does point toward dry weather for Wednesday, Thursday, and right on into Friday as well. So we'll continue with a dry weather pattern. Tropics are great. All is quiet. Nothing is showing up now. Water is cooling down everywhere except for where we've still got the very warm water down around the Caribbean. And the hurricane season runs all the way through the end of this month, all the way through the end of November. But as you look at the buoy data up here, it is cooled dramatically. Now buoys showing temperatures of around 71. And remember that the water temperature needs to be at around 80 degrees or higher in order to support tropical, storms and hurricanes and things of that nature. So we're running fast toward the end of hurricane season, and we wouldn't expect anything with this cooler water up here at this time of the year. It would be somewhere else in the Atlantic Basin. It's calm too as we check it from the Gulf area, Okaloosa Island WeatherNet camera. Pretty calm, quiet down there. Hardly a soul down there as we check out our coastal conditions, low risk of rip currents now. And our Sea-Tow marine forecast has seas tomorrow calming way, way down. Let's check out the view from the Hardee's beach cam. Hilton at Pensacola Beach is where we have the camera, and it is certainly all clear in the skies there as we look out over the Gulf waters. All right, so ahead, plan on more dry weather and some sunshine, maybe a little cloud cover there by Thursday. Highs will end up being in the 70s, especially later on in the week. Tomorrow it's upper 60s to low 70s. And the weekend looks dry. We were thinking we might see a little something on Sunday, but that really doesn't look to be the case. It's Monday and Tuesday that we've got a chance for rain. But even those days, that rain chance is low at only around 20%.
Oscar-nominated actress Sally Kirkland has died after a brief stay in hospice care. Sally Kirkland appeared in well over 200 movies and TV shows starting in 1960. Roles range from a cameo in Blazing Saddles to her starring role in the indie film Anna, which earned her the Oscar nod. Her representative told Variety she died this morning. He did not reveal the cause of death, but friends shared this fall she'd broken several bones and developed infections. Sally Kirkland was 84 years old.
Celebrating veterans in Okaloosa County, the parade in Crestview, and the emotional words from Representative Pat Maney in Fort Walton Beach. Plus, just a few months ago, we were playing in the snow right here in Florida. A Gulf Coast organization now commemorating that unique experience with a set of ornaments.
The Great Blizzard of 2025, blanketing the Gulf Coast with record snowfall on January 21st. The storm broke records from Texas to Florida and as far north as the Carolinas. Now, a local organization is commemorating the historic event with the proceeds going to vital services for people in our community. And joining me is Tony Zadro, Vice President of Marketing and Development for Goodwill Gulf Coast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Haley. It's great to be here.
Yes, so every year you all put out these ornaments, usually commemorating an area in Mobile or Pensacola, and the theme for this year is the snowstorm. How'd you guys land on that?
Well, it came up early in the year. We're always searching for a new theme for that year's ornaments. We've been doing this program for 32 years, roughly, and so this year it came early. Because we started in January after having just completed our ornament sales, and then we got hit with the historic snowstorm of January 21.
Yeah, I could never forget it.
I think that's true for everyone.
I know, it was such a memorable time for everybody. A lot of people said it was their first time ever seeing snow.
Yes,
so
it broke 130-year-old records for the most snowfall and the coldest temperatures here in Pensacola, in Mobile, and all along the Gulf Coast.
Yes, and so you have some of those ornaments with you today. Yeah. I know we've got some pictures of them, but let's just take a look here. These are not your everyday ornaments. These are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, first let's start off with the Mobile one.
Yeah, this is a view of Government Boulevard with all of the beautiful live oaks covered in snow, and it was taken from photos that were taken that day during the snowstorm to depict the beautiful winter landscape, the wonderful wonderland that occurred on that day. We all have fond memories of getting out in the snow, of walking in the snow, because the flakes were so large and the accumulation was so, deep, so it was wonderful.
And you got one for Pensacola Beach as well.
We do. For Pensacola, we have an ornament that depicts the Pensacola Beach sign covered in snow. And we based that on some photos that were taken during the day and added a little snowman off to the side just for some extra color. But it's a wonderful thing to have the Pensacola Beach sign with all of its popularity. Everyone loves that sign, depicted in such an unusual setting.
And these are not just your ordinary ornaments. These are gold-plated ornaments, okay? So how much do these cost and how can I get my hands on one?
Well, Haley, you can buy one for $20 a piece, and they are available at our Goodwill stores throughout the area, but also at select vendors here in Pensacola and in Mobile.
And I know the proceeds for these ornaments go towards essential services here in Northwest Florida and in South Alabama, especially for some children with special needs and their families. Talk to me about that.
You bet. The ornaments are really supporting all of the programs and services that we provide to everyone that comes to us. We have a lot of things related to job training and employment, and that's one of our specialties. Not just employing people in our stores, but helping them find jobs outside of Goodwill. And then we also have a unique program that's very appropriate to mention on Veterans Day, and that is our military respite program that we do here in Pensacola. We actually don't do this in Mobile, but in Pensacola, any military family that has children with intellectual disabilities is able to get a hold of us, and then we will come in and, like, for example, they want to go Christmas shopping, so we'll watch the kids for them. And we do a lot of that here in Pensacola already, but we're always eager to help more veterans if possible.
And like you mentioned, only available for that service here in Pensacola. How long has that been in place?
It's been about 10, 12 years that we've been doing that, and it seems to grow every year.
Yeah, and so like you mentioned, the GED training as well as job prep. I mean, what services are available there and who qualifies for those services?
You bet. With our GED program, anyone that does not have a high school diploma can either get their diploma or can get their equivalency to their GED, and we will help them from start to finish. In terms of when they come in, they won't have to pay any fees because we pick up the state fees and everything for taking the GED tests. We provide all of the training and then make sure that they have everything they need to succeed to get that diploma.
And that's amazing. And that's just one example of the list here of resources available for people in South Alabama and the Pensacola area. So for the full list, where can people go to get more information?
Oh, they can go to our website, www.goodwillgc.org, and they'll find information on all kinds of programs that are for families, early intervention programs for young children who need help, getting into school and doing well in school, and all types of programs with for financial proficiency. We offer a tax service so that when comes time to do your taxes, we have specialists who come in and will help you do that, and everything is provided for free.
Wow, that's amazing. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, whatever they need.
We try, yeah, and it's true that we have programs for very young children all the way up through senior citizens.
So services and ornaments available in stores, Goodwill stores in South Alabama and Pensacola right now.
That's right, Haley. I mean, they'll be available throughout the Christmas season, and we just hope that people will feel good about getting something that reminds them of a very wonderful day with all of the beautiful snow to have fun in, but also support something very vital for the community.
All right, Tony Zadra with Goodwill Gulf Coast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Haley. It's great to be here.
I'm Atra El-Nashar in Washington. President Trump says he wants to give Americans $2,000 and use tariff revenue to pay for it. Coming up, a warning from experts who crunch the numbers behind this promise.
Starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you're just joining us, President Trump doubling down on his pledge to send low and middle income Americans $2,000 dividends using tariff revenue. It is a tall promise.
Government budget experts say it would take 2 years worth of tariffs to pay for that expenditure. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar has more on how this would or wouldn't work.
President Trump wants to send Americans direct payments. It's not technically a stimulus check like the one sent out during the pandemic, instead giving Americans a share of revenue generated by tariffs.
We're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000.
The president would not be able to do this on his own.
It will have to be passed by Congress, but the reality is just this, that because of Biden's inflation, which averaged 5% over 4 years, that people on average lost about $3,400 in purchasing power, and they've gained about $1,200 this year, but there's still room to go.
Just last month, the president said tariff revenue would first be used to pay some of America's $38 trillion debt.
Number one, we're paying down debt because people have allowed the debt to go crazy.
When we studied the matter in the summer, that we thought that deficit reduction might be the best use of those monies, but we've had a big surge in tax revenues. You've seen even a bit surplus in the latest monthly Treasury report.
Experts at the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget say this doesn't add up.
The reality is we have surpluses in tax collection months. So we have surpluses in April, we have surpluses in September. Overall, there's no surge in revenue, and what we're seeing is deficits are still trucking along at about $2 trillion a year.
With paying dividends now the priority, the question remains, can America afford it?
The tariffs that President Trump has enacted, when they're in full effect, are going to raise about $300 billion a year. That's a lot of money. But sending every American or every American that's not high income $2,000 would cost $600 billion.
Pumping that much money into the economy would likely make inflation worse. Now, if the Supreme Court decides that most of the president's tariffs are unconstitutional, the committee forecasts it would take 7 years for the remaining tariffs to generate enough revenue to pay Americans $2,000 dividends. In Washington, I'm Atra Al-Nashar.
You can point your camera at the QR code on your screen to answer our question of the day. Should President Trump use tariff revenue to give a $2,000 dividend check to Americans or lower the national debt? You can also head to our X or Facebook page to let us know what you think.
And yesterday, we asked, do you think Congress is working in your best interest? You see the results there. It's not close. 93% of you say no.
Pensacola police need your help finding the suspect after a man was found dead in an office Monday. Police believe the person on your screen is responsible for the death of 57-year-old Dean Chambers. Chambers was found stabbed to death inside the AA Top Shop on Davis Highway. Police say this suspect commutes along West Fairfield Drive or through the Brownsville community. If you have information that could help investigators, please call the police department.
A chilly morning couldn't keep people away from Veterans Day events along the Gulf Coast, and Crestview veterans and supporters lined the streets for a parade this morning, followed by a ceremony at the memorial wall next to the courthouse. In Fort Walton Beach, the ceremony at Beale Memorial Cemetery included opportunities for people to place flowers in memory of those who've served. For Representative Pat Maney, a retired brigadier general in the U.S. Army, the day has personal meaning.
We frequently, when we get home, put our memories in the closets of our minds and in the closets of our houses. But today we can take them out. And at the end of our lives, regardless of the hard times or the good times, we can all square our shoulders one more time and say, through it all, I was a soldier.
During his address, Maney remembered he and his wife's fathers and their grandfathers who all served in the military.
First Warning Weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
And like we just talked about earlier, it is Veterans Day. A lot of parades out there today, but a little chilly for those events. But
blue, I see blue everywhere.
Yeah, a great day to celebrate nonetheless, though.
Oh yeah, but it's cold, Alan.
Yeah, it was cool, but the weather was dry and it ended up being pretty nice, certainly for Veterans Day today. You can see we've got 50s right now. It's mainly mid to low 50s. And overnight, not quite as cold, so not freezing cold. We are looking at some 30s, though, for the inland areas. A little colder up in those spots. And then along the coast, we've got 40s. You can just basically use Interstate 10, which runs right down here, and divide it up. North of that, we're looking at some 30s, above freezing 30s, and then 40s around those coastal areas. And then tomorrow, we're going to be warming it up. So high pressure, keeping it nice and calm here all across the northern Gulf Coast. We had a little bit of snow that drifted all the way down to areas near Atlanta yesterday. Now that's way up toward the the Great Lakes and in the Northeast. So the high is kind of keeping things high and dry here locally. And as we get into tomorrow, the weather will be warming up nicely. We're going to likely peak in the upper 60s to around 70, 71 degrees for tomorrow. So it is going to end up being considerably warmer tomorrow as the weather patterns kind of shift around a little bit.
Air travel difficulties are expanding. Starting today, 6% of flights will be cut at dozens of major airports. The FAA mandating the cuts to slow air traffic due to limited staffing during the shutdown. Maribel Gonzalez reports air travelers should pack their patience.
Until a deal to end the federal government shutdown is inked, airlines must continue to follow the FAA's emergency order to incrementally reduce flight capacity at 40 major U.S. airports, rising to 10% by Friday.
We were scared that it was going to delay like a whole day or more, but luckily it was only an hour. But hopefully this doesn't delay it more.
Tuesday, the flight cuts rose from 4 to 6%, but Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that percentage is actually higher.
The issue here is you saw more delays over the weekend than 4%. And we thought it's better to manage a reduction in flights, to systematically do it, to plan for it, than to let chaos ensue.
Secretary Duffy visited Central Wisconsin Airport on day 42 of a record-long government shutdown, speaking to air traffic controllers who have missed 2 paychecks.
We have some controllers who are put in a very difficult position.
He warned that even when the government shutdown ends, air travel won't resume to full capacity immediately.
I'm concerned that we're not going to have on day one controllers come back into the towers right away.
There have been at least 638 reports of short staffing since the government shutdown began on October 1st. That's more than 6 times as many as were reported on the same dates last year.
We had a 6-hour delay in Houston, and the weather was perfect. It's because the air traffic controllers aren't getting paid.
In Los Angeles, I'm Maribel Gonzalez, WEAR News.
Coming up, the spread of measles. Canada no longer considered disease-free, and experts fear the U.S. is not far behind.
Pumpkin and much more. I'm Liz Bonus. A few foods to give your body an immune boost this time of year, and we need it. Just ahead.
Bay Bridge, I'm going to stop mentioning it, but it seems like it's getting darker and darker every time we take a second look at traffic here in the newscast. I guess scientifically that would be true, but you know it's getting a little cooler out too. So we'll have a full look at the forecast with Alan here in just a few moments, see what to expect overnight. Traffic, though, as you can see, flowing smooth. It looks pretty solid too around the rest of the area.
Rising cases of measles remain a top concern for public health officials in the U.S. The latest CDC data reports 1,681 confirmed measles cases in the U.S. this year as of November 4th. That's up 285 in all of last year. The last spike in the U.S. was in 2019 when the CDC recorded close to 1,300 cases.
It's very concerning that we are seeing this illness to be on the rise, especially when we know that there are very simple steps that can be done to prevent it. 9 out of 10 people that are exposed to someone with measles, if they are not vaccinated, 9 out of 10 of them are expected to contract measles. That's quite a high number.
This week, Canada lost its recognition as a measles-free country. Outbreaks this year have sickened more than 5,000 people there. And the arrival of cold weather brings more risk of viral infections, from the common cold to flu and COVID. Liz Bonus shows us what to eat to help fight off those seasonal bugs.
Hey there, everybody. There is a reason it's often suggested you eat by the season. Many hearty winter foods can give your immune system a much-needed boost this time of year. They may not stop all the cold and flu symptoms from setting in, but as Shauna Helton of Smarty Plants Recipes showed me in this cooking demonstration.
So today we're going to make pumpkin turkey sage soup.
Many of the ingredients you see here are quite a recipe for success when it comes to boosting immunity.
Now right now I've got some turkey, I got vegetable broth, I've got coconut milk, and now I'm going to add my baked pumpkin puree into our soup. Okay.
Looks delicious, smells delicious. A recent report from the Cleveland Clinic shows many brightly colored plant foods that are in season this time of year have nutrients to keep you well. So in addition to what's in this recipe, it's suggested you eat citrus fruits loaded with vitamin C. berries with antibacterial properties, broccoli with what's called glutathione to reduce immune system damage, as well as spinach with beta-carotene. Pumpkins have that too. They help fight infection. Now, on top of this, you want the right seasonings.
Salt and paprika and garlic powder.
Ginger can help fight nausea, and turmeric or curry seasoning can help fight inflammation. As our health photojournalist James Harrison found out, all these can be really tasty too. All right, use my mic and tell me how that is.
It's good.
Is it really?
It really
oh
is.
my goodness, from James, that's remarkable. That's like really high praise. It serves up pretty well in its own pumpkin serving dish. I do have a link to this pumpkin turkey sage soup on the Liz Bonus Facebook page. Directions included. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Ultra-processed foods are now linked to development of prediabetes in young adults.
University of Southern California researchers followed 85 people ages 17 to 22 for 4 years. They found those who ate a lot of fast food and prepackaged snacks were more likely to show signs of early-stage high blood sugar. From baseline to follow-up, a 10% increase in eating ultra-processed foods was associated with a 64% higher risk for prediabetes. Researchers say trading packaged or restaurant meals for whole and raw foods can reduce the likelihood of developing type 2 diabetes later in life.
Some younger adults are changing the way they eat, but it may be more about money than health. Cava, Chipotle, Sweet Green, all reporting a drop in sales to customers between 25 and 35. Those chains say younger millennials and older Gen Zers cutting back on fast casual dining. They're packing lunches or grabbing cheaper fast food. Among the economic issues behind the penny pinching, student loan debt, unemployment, the shutdown, experts say fast casual restaurants could rebound once the country gets back into better shape.
First Warning WeatherNet is sponsored by Peden Air Conditioning, Plumbing and Electrical. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alan Strum.
There's the sun shining beautifully on downtown Mobile as we check that out. And our temperatures right now, Mobile at 55, Milton also 55, Crestview 56 degrees. We got mid 50s as you take it on down Okaloosa County to around the Destin area. And then as we shift on over into Santa Rosa County, pretty similar there as well. So we've got this cool weather in the area. And there'll be a chill in the air overnight. I mean, it's going to be chilly tomorrow morning again, but not as cold as what we saw this morning. So we've got inland areas that'll be dropping down into the 30s. Mid to upper 30s, above freezing here, and then the coastal zones will be in the 40s as we get into tomorrow morning. And then during the day tomorrow, we're going to pop up to around 70, give or take. Upper 60s to low 70s is what we're expecting for tomorrow. So we had the really cold air in the area, and now we're just quickly shifting things back around. High and dry, nothing showing up around here. Let me show you where the rain and snow is. It's falling up in areas of the Midwest and Northeast. The blue on the map indicates snow. The green indicates rain. I got kind of a mix in some cases, but that's where that colder winter weather is. But for us, the high pressure taking over. But this is going to slip on a little bit, just a little nudge to the east, and we'll end up seeing just a total turnaround in our weather pattern. And that's why we're going to have some warmer air in the area. Warmer air and calm conditions, really. I mean, our winds are expected to be calm after we had breezy weather there late Sunday and throughout the day yesterday, but things are certainly changing. Here's the traditional futurecast. We're looking for color to indicate rain. Not going to see it here on the map for today or tomorrow, but it does show a little bit of cloud cover slipping into the area on Thursday, so we'll look for that on Thursday. Tropics look great. Everything's quiet. End of the month and we're out of hurricane season, but for us it's pretty much over as our water has already cooled well below that magic number of 80 degrees. Here's the view as we look along our coast. That's Dog Beach right down there, seen from Tower 3 out at Portofino Island Resort, and we're seeing at least green flags at Santa Rosa Island. Some other beaches are probably going with yellow flags, and our Seato Marine forecast has seas running pretty calm again for tomorrow, not much. Here's the Hardee's Beach cam view. There it is, sunset just minutes away. Hilton at Pensacola Beach is where we have the camera, and it is super clear in the skies. We'll see another clear day tomorrow. Not as cold tomorrow morning, but still chilly. And then tomorrow, high upper 60s, low 70s. Dry and mainly cloud-free throughout the rest of the week. I think a little bit on Thursday is what we'll end up seeing. And the weekend looks pretty nice. You know, we had mentioned maybe seeing some rain on Sunday. If you were thinking about that, had some concerns. I don't think it's going to happen. So we're going to kind of nudge that into the early part of next week. But even on Monday and Tuesday, it's on the low side at just 20%.
Thanks for that, Alan. It's not an issue for us right now, but Arizona State University researchers are learning more about how we stay cool during extreme heat.
Ashley DiMartino explains they're taking a closer look to see how sweat and salt work together to keep us cool.
A few years ago, ASU created a first-of-its-kind outdoor sweating mannequin named Andy, the first experiment to understand how the body cools itself in extreme heat. The next phase of the project used real human subjects.
We used what's called a liquid perfused suit, which astronauts, for example, wear under their spacesuits, except they are passing cold water to cool, and we pass alternative very hot and very cold water to induce sweating and then cool off the person.
The process taking about 3 hours to get a person in the heat suit, sweating, and then using a micro camera to zoom super close and watch how the sweat glands turn on and off. It turns out our sweat evaporates out 3 times more than we originally thought.
Second stage, it ends up spreading farther along the skin and evaporating, so it kind of cools you quicker, faster for the same amount of sweat or dehydration you have.
The key part turned out to be the salt deposits left behind in the process.
That salty sweatiness, can that actually help keep us safe in our heat here in Arizona?
I don't have an immediate implication, and I wouldn't recommend you not taking showers to cool off faster. The whole idea is trying to identify some kind of physical process that's dominant that we could then try to think of ways to manipulate in a way that makes us feel safer or feel better and be cooler and safer.
Michael Jackson now in a class by himself. The new record he just set thanks to Thriller. Reptiles typically survive and scamper away when they thaw out. Iguanas are considered an invasive species in Florida. They don't typically survive winters this far north, but they're prevalent in Central and South Florida. Haley, what do you think about that?
I honestly don't know how I would react. It is new if I saw an iguana falling out of a tree.
Strange, isn't it?
It's kind of a scary sight to see.
Yeah.
And another scary sight, the cost of traditional weddings. It continues to rise. According to The Knot, since 2020, the average price tag for a wedding is around $33,000. Tariffs aren't helping. Roughly 20% of vendors say charges on imports are causing their prices to go up on everything from dresses and rings to cake ingredients. According to analysts, 1/3 of engaged couples say they have concerns about paying for their special day. And I know a couple of people planning weddings right now, and I can say it's true.
I know a lot of people that went kind of to the downsizing method with the wedding, and I'm of the belief it's day one of your marriage, so maybe don't spend it all on that first day because there's a lot of expenses could come up.
But it might be your only shot.
It could be. It could also not be, but we'll see.
It's true.
Michael Jackson rising on the Billboard charts again. His 1980s hit Thriller returned to the top 10 of the Hot 100 singles charts this week. According to Billboard, it drew 14 million streams the week starting with Halloween and more than 9 million plays on radio. Thriller has over the decades spent 26 weeks on the Hot 100 chart, and it makes Jackson the first artist to reach the top 10 in 6 different decades. He had his first solo hit in 1971 with the song Got to Be There.
I think that's just incredible. As if Michael Jackson needed another reason to show why he is one of the greats in history.
Yeah, this video, it scared the lights out of my brother and I's kids. We thought it was a real horror film. Yeah. Have you watched the whole thing?
I have. It's been a while.
It's still scary. We'll be right back with a look ahead to WEAR News at 5.